out of space. Hi folks, and welcome back to the Wild Patch. We are fast approaching the end of May. In fact, it will probably be early June when you see this video. And I've got a bit of a problem. I've run out of space. Yes, everything is looking super abundant and leafy and green and gorgeous in here. And it is now desperate to get out into the allotment. Now, the problem I have is, although I have two well-sized allotments to put the plants out onto, I have been avoiding the inevitable and haven't actually planned the space out. And now we're at a very critical point where these need to get in, or they're going to start yellowing and failing, and it would have been a waste of the last few months. So I need to go up the allotment, and I think I'm going to take a bit of a chaos planting approach. I've made a very, very loose plan just because some things need to be kept apart, like my two types of sweet corn. Some things need to be kept together, like my three sisters planting. But otherwise, I think it's just going to be a bung it in and hope situation this year, because I just have not had the time and the headspace to properly plan something out. So that's what we're going to do. And I guess I'll see you at the allotment. I mean, thank God for Adam's car is all I can say. I have packed this thing out with plants. There is no way these would fit in my little tiny Citroen C1. So thank you, Adam. All right, so we have made it all in one piece, and actually it doesn't look like that much when you look at it in this little pile here. But I mean, it will still take a good couple of hours, particularly because I haven't planned the space out. So I'm just going to show you what we're working with. So all of this stuff is going to go onto the new plot. I have the bean poles up and they're the right size now, so that's good. I just need to add some netting and possibly some canes around the middle to make them a bit more sturdy, but they seem to be doing all right at the moment. This is quite a windy site, so I'm a bit worried that they are going to blow off at some point, but there we are. Now, what I do know, I've got the glass gem sweet corn that needs to go at the opposite end of the plot to the Swift. The Swift is a little bit further behind, so that's going to go up the top with my three sisters planting, and the glass gem, I'm thinking, can go down here. That should be far enough away to avoid cross-pollination. So that's probably going to be my starting point. I've then also got borlotti beans and some spare poles. So I will pop the borlottis on the end of this rack here, and any others can go along with the glass gem sweet corn and climb up those. I've then got, what have I got? So these are my Cos Violette beans, which I was hoping to put up with the Swifts in the Three Sisters. I think I need to put them in the ground regardless, so I think I'll do that, use some poles, but then also plant the Swift sweet corn around it as well. So it's still going to be Three Sisters, it's just not going to be quite traditional, just because for some reason the Swift sweet corn is way behind the glass gem. Bearing in mind I planted them at the same time. This is the glass gem, which is looking fab. Purple ends there, absolutely brilliant. The Swift is maybe about half the size, so I don't want to put them out in the ground just yet. So, actually saying that, I could put the glass gem down here and the Cos Violette, couldn't I? That would be the logical. Come on, Leanne, use your brain. What else have I got? I've got perennial cauliflower, which I saw on Holly May's Good Life video. So thank you, Holly. You influenced me. I bought some perennial collies. I have some other plants from the Victoria nurseries as well, and they're going to go into my healing tea garden down the bottom. These are squash. These are, I think they're some sort of courgette. Yep, green bush courgette, butternut squash, cosmos. Coming around here, I've got, these are my borlotti beans, which are getting just a little bit out of hand. Mystery chilies, some odd tomatoes that won't fit in the greenhouse. I've got some scabious, some, what else is in here? Dahlia, pink banana squash. I think we've got a cucumber in here somewhere. So a good mix. A lot of this is going to need support. So the beans, I've got tomatoes and peppers. I do have canes, so that shouldn't be an issue. I might end up building some teepees. So yeah, let's start with the sweet corn. So in true garden goblin fashion, I forgot to switch my microphone on. So we are doing a voiceover for this bit. I found an ant's nest. They were very unhappy that I dug them up, and look at them all panicking and moving their eggs around. Um, I'm not going to do anything about it. They shouldn't harm the crops or anything, so I'm just going to be wary of the nest and plant around it. I'm going to try and work with nature rather than against it. So before I moved on with the next bit of planting, I thought I'd go and have a look at the bottom plot and check out the garlic. I pulled out the cheeky test one and it's looking pretty good. Um, the leaves are starting to get rusty. I did get a harvest of scapes out of them a couple of weeks ago. So that's the first harvest done. Now that the leaves are looking a little bit tired and rusty, I thought it might be time to pull them out. So a little bit of footage of that, and I'm not going to lie, very, very pleased with these. This is also a really good opportunity to try out my new tripod, which is one of those like round the neck kind of job. I saw it on TikTok. It's what all the crafters use, and I thought, oh, that could be fun. I'm still trying to get the hang of it, as you can see. And I probably look like a bit of a wally walking around the allotment with a phone hanging around my neck, but you get to be in my shoes for a couple of minutes, and what a joyous thing that must be. Look at that garlic, though. Yeah. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, look at the size of them. They're a bit knobbly. Is that normal? I don't know. I've never grown giant garlic before. Oh, these are the little bits that you like plant again? Not sure. Anyone knows about giant garlic? Let me know in the comments. Thank you. Right, 2 more. 3 more. Beautiful. Honestly, I'm pretty pleased with that. We've got a few little tiddlers in here, but they'll still be absolutely fine used green. And then I've got some absolutely massive ones. Oh, yeah, made up. So rewarding.
Several days later.
Hi, how's it going? It is about a week after I did that initial first few clips of me planting things out, because in the end I just needed to switch the camera off and get stuff done. So I've got an afternoon free and I thought I would nip up the allotment and show you the progress so far. So we are starting on the bottom plot, or the old plot, and things look pretty much the same but also a little bit different, so let's have a little wander around. Firstly, I've got some strawberries in my drain guttering situation. They haven't been brilliant. And I'll be honest, that's because I haven't been up here watering them. So I still think this is a good sort of way to plant vertically, but I would only do it in sort of a garden or somewhere that you access regularly. I'm coming up here maybe once, twice a week to water, so it's just not been enough for these poor straws, especially with the weather we've been having. So just a little bit of feedback on that one. Okay, this bed has pretty much stayed the same. So we've got the sweet peas there that are nicely growing up the obelisk, and I've added some chilies. So I had some spare chilies. Most of my chilies, peppers and tomatoes are going to be grown in the greenhouse, but I bought the spares up because I thought, well, I've got the space, so we might as well. And actually, we've already got some chilies on here. Look at that. So that's very exciting. I think these are the Anaheim ones. Lots of flowers. They don't look like particularly strong plants, but honestly, most of them are going to be in the greenhouse. So if they live, they live. If they die, they die. We're taking survival of the fittest approach. And then we've got some Nepeta there, catmint, just filling out the edges. So this bed had a single broccoli in it that wasn't really doing anything. So I have now added it's looking a bit sad actually. This is a bronze fennel that came from Ellie and Tom on my next door plot. And then we have a few squashes. So I think that's a mashed potato squash and another one there. And then I put the spare tomatoes in here. So that's a tigerella. That, looking at the colour, is an atomic grape. And I think that one might be an atomic grape as well. And then a couple of cosmos just to fill it out. So there's a bit more room in here. I might put some carrots or something in here. I think I've mentioned before that this whole garden is going to be like a tea healing herb garden. I want to do a bit more to the landscaping before I start that off properly. So that's why I've put the tarp down there. This is probably going to be a job for the winter or for next year. Okay, and this is an oddly neat looking bed. There's barely any weeds. There's a little bit of bindweed there, look. But wow. Okay. So we've got some cornflowers coming up. These are just about to bloom. Very excited about that. Oh no, that is a bindweed, isn't it? Is that a bindweed? Pretty sure that's a bindweed. I'll double check that. It seems to be growing slightly differently, but it looks like a bindweed leaf to me. I'll check that. Cosmos, courgette. I don't know what variety this is, did not put a label in. This is the thing with me. I spend hours writing the labels and making sure they're in the right pots in the right places, all the way through sowing and growing them up into seedlings. And then when I put them in the garden, I completely abandon all ideas of labelling. So mystery courgette. And then I thought I'd use the other obelisk because I bought a pack of 2 for a cherry tomato structure. So these again are my spare cherries. I've got 4 here, so there'll be chocolate cherry, black cherry, Galena, and I think the 2 atomic grapes are down the bottom. So yeah, this should hopefully have a nice variety of coloured tomatoes on it, so that'd be nice. Extra cosmos and another Nepeta. And then look at these. These are my broad beans, and I think they might be ready to go. Look at the size of those babbies. Yeah, that's feeling pretty good to me. God, there's loads on here. Look, it's like way down. Oh, look at all the black fly. Actually, not as bad a black fly as I thought it was going to be. So we've got a good picking on here. I grew these broad beans actually for my mum. She really likes broad beans, but very rudely she's going on a cruise next week, so she's not going to be around to eat them. So if anyone's got any good broad bean recipes, hit a girl up, because I'm going to have quite a few to get through by the looks of it. Look at them all. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. And of course the rhubarb is still doing its thing. Got a cheeky bramble that's popped back up there. I thought I'd dug it all out last year. You never do actually dig them all out, do you? So that'll be another job for later. So 2 rhubarbs, and then again another rhubarb that I thought I'd dug out is back with a vengeance. So yeah, a little bit of work needed on this bit. On the to-do list is to fix this compost bay and potentially make another though I'm not entirely sure where. Possibly facing the back of that vase, so they're like back to back. I don't know, we'll figure it out. So we'll come this way. The sage is flowering. Look at this, beautiful flowers. Lovely. Can you eat sage flowers? Does anyone know if you can eat sage flowers? I ironically, given the size of my sage plant, I don't like sage that much. I think it tastes a bit funky. So I've been giving a lot of them to Jessie, my friend. She's got her own farm over in Monmouthshire. So I gave her a massive bag of sage last year to make sausages and whatnot with. So Jessie, if you want any more sage, I've got plenty. Come on over. And then turns out the currants at this end were red currants. Look at that. They're looking lovely. I should get a net for these really to protect them from the birds. Maybe making some, I don't know, what do you make with red currants? Jelly, I guess. And then I've got also gooseberries are coming up as well. So yes, the fruit bushes are fruit bushing. Very excited to see. So onto the top plot then. It's still not looking, picture perfect. I doubt it ever will, but there's a lot more going on now. We've got more gooseberries than you can shake a stick out. These ones are looking a bit bigger and better than the ones on the old plot. Let's have a little, that's quite big. Oh, that one just came off without, actually, shall I try one? Shall I try it? I mean, nothing ventured, I guess. Yeah, all right, a bit tart, kind of grapey. I mean, they're not hard. Does that mean they're ripe? I don't know, somebody tell me, please. Thank you. And so actually probably the biggest change in this plot is the, look at the pond. We have dug a pond and filled it with some water and put a nice metal grid over the top so no children, dogs or animals will fall in. I'm going to do a full video on planting up this area. I have plans, but I thought I would show you that I have kept to my promise and I have dug a pond. This area to the left is going to be a seating area, so I need to strim it all back, tidy it up, bark it, and in that pink box over there are dahlias. I brought them up a week ago. They're still sat there. They seem to be pretty happy, so I'll leave them there for a little bit longer. And then down the side of the pond, I've got my little fence here, which should protect it from this sort of pathway. I didn't want anyone tripping in there. And I've put some scabious, cosmos and calendula there, just to brighten up that little patch of dirt. Okay, and it doesn't look a lot, but this is like the majority of the planting I did last week. So we've got the Three Sisters patch here. I did promise that I would film myself planting these to show you, but I didn't, frankly. I just needed to get it done off camera. So what I've done, so these sort of pointy leaves here, that's the sweet corn, that's the glass gem with the lovely sort of purple tones to them. It's gorgeous. So I've planted those. If you can see, it's actually really good because they're purple in a kind of grid formation. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Some of them are green, some of them are purple. I don't know why. Anyway, grid formation. You all know what a grid looks like. In between those, I've got the beans, which are looking a bit flat because they're not climbing up the sweet corn yet. So I need to train those. So this is a bean here. So it's looking for something to climb. So if I just tuck it around there, we'll sort of train it to come this way a little bit. It hopefully will do. And then in between the broad leaves here are squash. I think they are butternut squash. I can't remember what. I can't remember. This is the problem with having lots of squash. They all look the same, but they'll all be delicious. It's fine. So that's the Three Sisters planting. And then up here, we've got the bean structure. So I'd already done half of it with the Greek gigantes up to about here. And then last week I added the bolotes. So that's how that's going. And then again, I've got some pumpkins. No, these are mashed potato squash in the middle, one at each end. And then in the middle, I've got more cornflowers to hopefully attract the aphids away from the beans. And then last but not least, try not to stab myself on this big metal rod that we left in the ground there. This is just another teepee with some leftover chilies on them. And again, couldn't tell you what they are. They're probably Anaheim because I had loads of them. So yeah, those are just here, seeing what they'll do. And then a couple of extra courgettes. So I think these are the green bush and the Romanesco and possibly a butternut squash. So yeah, that's how things are looking now. So we are now first week of June. So possibly a little behind. Definitely compared to some of the other plots around me, but I'm trying to give myself a break because they are run by retirees who have been here for a long time. They didn't need to do so much soil prep, so much clearing down because they do constant maintenance. So I'm trying to cut myself a little bit of slack here. But yeah, lots more to do. So next on the to-do list over the next few weeks, gosh, it's windy, is to fix that compost bin, make that seating area, and plant up the pond. So 3 quite biggish jobs, which I will get on video for you. I would love to know your thoughts. What are you planting this year? How's your allotment looking? Any gooseberry recipes or broad bean recipes would be gratefully received. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all in the comments. So until next time, take care. Bye.